Hello again from my front porch. I am here still in San Diego, California at the ATD 2023 International Conference and Expo, and I am joined now by Wendy Kirkpatrick of the, I'm going to call it the Kirkpatrick dynasty in our learning profession. There are certain concepts that have become, like foundational. There's the ATD model, there's Bloom's taxonomy, and things like that. But then there is the Kirkpatrick 4 levels of evaluation, and there are some people who say, hey, that's been around so long, we need something new. But see, I'm of the big opinion that if it doesn't matter how old something is. Of course, I kind of feel this way more and more the older I get, I suppose. But it doesn't matter how old something is, it matters on, is it effective? Does it work? And the Kirkpatrick levels of evaluation, as it's traditionally been called, has been solid. But I'm thrilled to have Wendy here because Wendy, many years ago, you came to the Central Iowa ATD chapter, and you actually introduced me to a whole new vision of the Kirkpatrick 4 levels. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, here we are at the ATD conference, and the Kirkpatricks have been part of this event. You, Jim, Don, before he passed away, was here many years.
Yes.
So you all have been part of this event for a very long time. And so you've seen a lot at this event over those years.
Definitely.
So from your vantage point, what do you think, what is the value to this for attendees, for people in the profession? Why do we gravitate to this? What is the importance of this?
That is a really good question. For me, there's the old of the conference and the new of the conference. And what's fun about the old of the conference is, you said before, it's almost like a family reunion.
Yep.
We come and we see, people like you, our old friends who we've seen for decades now. And
it makes me sound old, but yes, it's true.
I've been here too. And so, there's that familiarity that you come back to of the tried and the true and the things we know work. And then you overlay that with what's new and exciting. And that's the great thing about the conference too. Like this year, of course, not that it's brand new, but AI and learning, what's happening with that, that's part of what we do now. So for me, the mix of the old and the new is what's great about the conference.
Well, what I think is, to just dovetail on that, I think it's interesting how no matter how many of these I've come to, there's some of the same stuff that's covered. I mean, and not even necessarily just same presentations, but it's some of the same content, same concepts. But then there's the new stuff that gets introduced, and it's especially interesting to see when those things get connected. When there's that merging of the traditional, I won't even say old, but the traditional, and then this new concept. I think that's kind of exciting when you see that. It's almost like you're witnessing an evolution in the industry, when something goes that way. Now, I am going to say, with Wendy here, I'm going to say that one of the things that I just kind of chuckle about, in our training industry, we tend to have that squirrel complex. The new thing, the new shiny thing. Ooh, look at that, look at that. And what that really feeds into is, there are people that, like I was saying, some people say, Kirkpatrick model. That's old. That's been around forever. That's how we. Yeah, but it works. It's solid. But then you have some individuals that will say, I can come up with a better model than that. I can do that better. Now, Wendy's not saying this. This is me. They say I can do that better, and so they come up with this new approach to doing what the Kirkpatrick model has done. But in my opinion, it's still the Kirkpatrick model, just with different labels. It's just because it's like we get to a point where we say, we don't like it because it's old, so we need a new version. We need a reboot, if you will. And I think that is very short-sighted, because having something that's established means that you have a foundation to build from. It's been proven. It's been vetted.
Right. Well, really well said, because I'm not going to say that the model isn't old or traditional. Underneath it is. But at the end of the day, the reason it's still here is, like you said, it does work. And to honor, though, the reality that the world is moving quickly and things are changing, that was really why we came out with the New World Model in 2010, which, at this point, that's getting to be a little while ago. So I think people would say, okay, well, is the model keeping up? Is it still current, and is it still relevant? And I'm glad people are asking that question, because then that prompts me to think about, how is the model still relevant and still useful?
Well, and that new model, that when she came to the Central Iowa chapter those years ago and presented, it was this new world model. And if you're familiar with the Kirkpatrick 4 levels of evaluation, it's been, there's level 1, and there's level 2, level 3, level 4, and it goes linear, and this that's the way our industry has interpreted that, has understood that for many years. But then along come the Kirkpatricks themselves, and they say, hold on, it's not really, and I hope I'm not talking out of turn, but that wasn't even actually Don's initial vision when he identified four types of evaluation, but he didn't even think of them as levels initially. It was just the order they were published by ASTD at the time in their magazine, first, second, third, fourth article, and those became the 4 levels. But if you strip those numbers away, which you folks did, strip the numbers away and just look at them as types of evaluation, then looking at how do those interact with each other, they created this new world model that there's this whole new level of synergy between these and dynamic. That's not compartmentalized stair-stepping, it's how these things work together to create a robust opportunity to confirm that learning has actually happened. Or I think Jim would say performance.
Yeah, exactly. And what's neat about the history of the Kirkpatrick model is Dr. Raymond Katzel was actually in the field of psychology and human resources, and he had these ideas, and Don really admired his work when he was working on his own PhD. Yeah. And that's where reaction learning behavior and results came from. And Don applied them in a different way. Yeah. And then, like you said, they got published in that journal of AS, whatever it was called back then, right? And then the industry took over from there. Don did not shepherd this model through the decades. Rather, well-meaning training professionals read those journal articles, and people said they were passing around tattered copies, back before we had the fantastic
before there's the internet when you could just look it up online, Yes, and so really we owe the industry a lot of the credit for the evolution of the model, and that's really where the New World model was born from, looking at how are people actually using and implementing the model in today's world where, we don't just have training directors who do classroom training. Think of all the different ways now that we train, we teach, and we learn. And so rightfully people said, well, can the model still really evaluate all those things? So really the New World model was our way of showing that yes, the model is underneath everything, so flexible. That's the power of it. I think that's the longevity of it, the simplicity and the flexibility. So it doesn't matter what modality we're using this decade or even this year or this minute, it's still gonna work. Well, so that's really interesting, because what with the continued evolution of your model, it underscores what I was saying before. It's not old. It's not out of date. And the reason the industry grabbed onto it was because it works. It's legitimate. And if that's the case, the old "if it ain't broke, don't fix it." But
that's right.
But that doesn't mean you still can't improve it.
Of course.
And what I really appreciate about what the Kirkpatrick organization is still doing, you just cited it before. You said the New World model has been out since 2010, and now here we are in 2023. Is there more to happen with that? I love the fact that you still consider those things too. It's not like, nope, this is our model. We're doing. But you're always evaluating that, considering where does it go next.
Of course. I was listening this morning during Adam Grant's keynote, got about 5 pages of notes, and it's not lost on me what he said, that what we need to aspire to know is what we don't know. Yeah. And we don't know what's coming next in training, so I have to make sure the model still fits.
Well, I hope that you have some sessions coming up. I should have given her advance. Do you off the top of your head know when those things all are?
My session is tomorrow at 4:30, right before that great networking night. So don't be sneaking out to networking night early. Come see us, and we each have book signings after our sessions as well, if people just want to talk to us. And
So your book signing will be tomorrow after your session?
and you know what, and don't be shy. If you see us, say hi. You know, we're open to chat with anybody. So if you see us in the expo hall, in the hallway, say
like
hi.
this.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, Wendy. Appreciate you taking time to chat with me today here.
Good to catch up with you.
Yeah, and welcome back to the conference. She hasn't been to the ATD conference since 2019.
Yeah,
and so
great to be back.
Great to have you back at the conference, and looking forward to your session tomorrow before the networking event. So don't skip out early for the network. Besides, the network event is literally across the street. It's at the baseball stadium, literally.
You're right.
So you don't need to rush out.
Don't
It's
need
just
to be
right
early.
over there. So, all right. We'll see you then, and I'll see you all next time from my front porch.
Bye-bye.